Measures will be brought forward to address racial and ethnic disparities.
Last month, the Queen's speech included a pledge that to many, including me, meant a great deal.
And ban conversion therapy.
It was a promise to finally end a practice that, I fear, has caused untold misery to members of the LGBTQ community. The term conversion therapy refers to any form of treatment which seeks to change someone's sexual orientation or suppress their gender identity. Sounds like something that belongs to the past, but it's still happening today. In 2018, the largest UK survey of more than 100,000 LGBT people found that over 2,000 had undertaken some form of conversion therapy. I'm a priest of the Church of England and I'm also gay, and for me that's never been a problem. I've never felt there's any conflict at all between Christian faith and being LGBT. But some people do, and indeed find that so unendurable that they seek, some would say therapy, intervention, call it what you will, to pray the gay away. For Matthew Heinemann, growing up gay was a lonely experience.
I prayed all the time not to be gay. I heard from the pulpit as a child that it was wrong to be gay, and of course that had an impact on me.
Matthew came out at 24. An email he sent by mistake revealed he was gay to his family, friends, and his faith community.
They wanted me to go through counselling. Thankfully, I had come to this complete assurance of who I was, and I was able to say no. But in doing so, I had to leave that whole world behind.
Matthew's experience led him to co-found the group Ban Conversion Therapy.
So we wrote this open letter and we got as many people of influence as possible and LGBT activists and faith leaders to support it. Yes.
Many, like me, consider conversion therapy a non-starter, and here's a reason why. If you believe your sexuality is something you're born with, then you can't be converted. But one person who disagrees is Mike Davidson, who runs an organisation called Core Issues Trust. Mike used to experience same-sex attraction, but says with change-oriented therapies, like he now offers others, that's shifted.
There are people in our society who are fluid in terms of how they express sexuality. And the only point I want to make is that we need to be understanding when they decide they no longer want to go in the direction that they started with.
It sounds to me that in that model, you kind of go for this and you go for that. Whereas my experience as a gay man has been that was something that was simply a given, that I had no choice over at all.
We are not trying to wipe out those people who hold a different point of view. But there are those who want to completely silence us, who feel that holding our point of view is not something that should be held. And to do so is damaging. I certainly wouldn't want to propose or support something like conversion therapy, which is a term that is imposed on us. It's not a term that we invented or support. We don't recognize what is being portrayed in that.
Mike's against the ban on conversion therapies, arguing that people should be free to choose a different sexuality if they wish. But even if that were possible, I sense only one option is encouraged and all others very much discouraged. Your argument involves a very negative assessment of homosexuality, which would be seen as sinful.
I think it's fine to be unapologetic in terms of our understanding of the Christian scriptures, that they are consistently, pervasively, and absolutely concerned to point out that homosexuality is wrong and sinful. I would not be against banning bad practice or things that could potentially damage people. But yes, I would be concerned that we would lose the right to be able to support and minister to that portion of the population that frankly has lost confidence in the professionals who have abandoned them.
Mike's concern is that a ban on conversion therapy may be so broad, it would stop faith groups even talking about sexuality. But I think that's unlikely. No one is trying to stop discussion, but rather draw the line when it seeks to dictate how to live your life. Which is something Joe experienced firsthand at just 17 years old. He hoped the therapy would help him fit in with his Orthodox Jewish community. Sadly, the experience was quite different.
It was talking therapy. It assumed that I was broken in some way, that I needed to be repaired. It completely changed my perception of who I was and really made me feel to blame for my sexuality.
That what was offered as a therapeutic intervention, in fact, was for you abusive?
100% abusive. It was slow and steady and may have not felt at the time to be something that was obviously abusive, like electroconvulsive therapy or aversion therapies. Any kind of way of trying to change someone's sexual identity or their gender identity is abuse.
So the government is planning to bring forward the ban on conversion therapy. And having spoken to Matthew and Joe, I've become convinced that that's probably the right thing to do, because at the heart of this is the problem. How do you fix something that hasn't gone wrong? And if in doing that you actively harm someone, well then you can't bring that to an end soon enough.